Today I'm going to show you how to trim an altered cylinder. An altered cylinder should have a flat base, but curving walls with possibly a belly or neck. So it's going to be trimmed very much like the cylinder with a few slight differences. So the first thing you want to do is you want to bring all of your tools to the wheel. You're going to want your bucket of tools with your cutoff wire, your wooden knife, and your needle tool. You're going to want your trimming tools, both large and small. These also can be called loop tools because they have a loop of metal on them. You're going to want your metal cap. You're going to want some stiff or new clay. And you're going to want your leather hard altered cylinder. The first thing you want to do before you start to trim, you want to always check and investigate your pot. How thick is the base? How thick are your walls? What shape are your walls on the inside, or what form are your walls on the inside, so that you can mimic that form on the outside. Then you're ready to tap center and attach your pot to the wheel head. Remember to turn your wheel head on slowly. You will test on your non-dominant side with your non-dominant hand, and you will tap with your dominant hand. Remember to feel the rhythm of it if you need to, and be patient in between taps. Once you feel it centered, then you're going to take your new clay or your stiff clay. You're going to put it up against the pot, but you're going to press it down into the wheel head, making sure you do it on opposite sides so as not to move the pot. Then recheck to make sure your pot is still on center. The first step to trimming an altered cylinder is to trim the horizontal. Just like in the cylinder, we're going to trim to make it flat and to make sure that we've gotten rid of any thickness. Of course, if you have a thin base, make sure that you do not trim too far. I'm right-handed, so I'll hold the tool in my right hand, supported with my left, elbows on my legs, and I will trim on the right side. When you go to trim, you want to make sure that you're getting ribbons of clay coming off. Shavings of clay mean that your pot is too dry. And chunks of clay that stick mean that your pot is too wet. Once your pot has flat, then take any thickness you have in your base and remove it. Then you can move on to the next step. The next step is to trim the side. In the cylinder, we call this the vertical. But here, our side is not vertical. Our wall has been curving out into this belly. So we want to mimic that same form. We're still going to use the cap, which will stick to our moist clay and slide under our dry fingers. But we want to make sure that we do not trim vertically, gouging our pot, but to trim into the form that we know exists on the inside of the pot. Once you're done trimming the side to make sure it mimics the inside, you're then going to trim the dip. You want to come between 1/4 and 1/2 inch in, trimming slightly into the center. And you know you're done trimming the dip when you can pass the flat tool test, which means a flat tool will sit on the edges and you can see light underneath the entire dip, all the way through the center. Lastly, you will create the bevel on the corner. That's cutting the angle between the base and the wall. If you feel like you're done, then you'll take it off to check the pot one last time. If you feel like you've done a good job, then you can clean up the edges and sign your name inside the dip. If you feel like you need to tap center it and finish trimming anything, you can always do that.